Ladies and gentlemen, huge day today. Bitcoin has broken out on the weekly chart, breaking above bull market support band, a very major break indeed. Now, unfortunately, it wasn't exactly the break we were looking for. It was a positive break for sure. It certainly was a good thing, certainly is bullish, but it just fell short of some critical levels we needed to take as well. So Bitcoin is not quite out of the woods, but it certainly has made me shift my opinion on Bitcoin from neutral to bullish. I would say I'm bullish now on Bitcoin. I'd say Bitcoin looks pretty good right now. We have a lot to look into in the weekly chart, daily chart, hourly chart, even looking into things like monthly returns chart. So lots to discuss overall. This is a bit of a nuanced video. I highly recommend you stick around for the whole video so you can get an actual good perspective of what my opinion is and hence adjust your opinion according to the data I present here today. So big video today in terms of content wise. Let's get into it. Guys, so obviously a lot to look into today, but I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible because I don't want to waste your time. A lot of people are going to be making long videos today. There's no point doing that. I think what's happened is actually very simple. All right, so we're going to be looking at daily chart. We're going to be looking at the breakout of bull market support band, breakout of multiple critical horizontal and diagonal levels. We're going to be looking at hourly chart. We're going to be looking at cryptocurrency market cap, Ethereum as well, and also diving into the Bitcoin weekly chart, which is linked at the moment to cryptocurrency market cap and Ethereum. As well as looking at the bull market support band break from a weekly perspective and the resistance we still face in the weekly. We're also going to be looking at a little comment here that I had on my YouTube channel yesterday that I want to respond to because I think that's a lot of people's opinions right now. We'll get into that later in the video, and we'll look into the Bitcoin range-bound constructions overall, giving you a macro perspective on Bitcoin, or at least, a perspective for the last year and a half. And then finally, we'll wrap it up by looking at Bitcoin monthly returns, because obviously October is generally a green month. We'll be looking at whether Uptober, people are calling it Uptober, which means we're going up in October, whether that's a legitimate claim or not. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before we do so, guys, check out the VIP group on Telegram. During this breakout on Bitcoin, we have seen massive gains on VIP on multiple trading plans. If you want to make money on VIP, you want to make money trading altcoins, using the signals from VIP, the stop losses, the entry, the take profit targets, whatever it may be. I give you all of that on VIP. Go ahead and check out the information group. You can join for free. You can check out the prices, what it actually offers you, and also the trading results historically, which is a 79% win rate. Absolutely bloody exceptional. So go ahead and check all that out. Guys, let's get into the content. So obviously, the big thing people have been discussing on Bitcoin, and the big thing I've been waiting for a long period of time, is the weekly candle close. Guys, I'm happy to announce that the weekly candle close on Bitcoin has successfully managed to close above the bull market support band. Just barely, as you can see, we just got above the bull market support band. And right now we're actually edging back into it. It's not a strong break, but it is certainly a break. And it's a break that happened just before the weekly. Now, what do I mean by just before the weekly? I mean literally on the hour before the weekly candle close, we jumped upwards here on the hourly chart. You can see from 27.2 to 28.1. Now, the reason that occurred, the reason it happened just an hour before the close after edging sideways for about 48 hours is because people were waiting for the weekly candle close. It proves to us that the weekly candle close was important. The fact that we saw that move just before it proves the importance of the weekly. All right, so we saw the weekly candle close. It was a good weekly candle close. We broke above bull market support band. We know what the bull market support band is historically. We know what it does. Let's take a quick look into it so we can just kind of get a bit of perspective for people who might not know. This is a level, this orange band here between, which is built up, which is comprised of the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. It's a level that held for support throughout the entirety of 2017, 2018, and 2016. It's a level that once we lost after that bull market, we held it for resistance for the entirety of the bear market. It's a level that once we got back above it during 2019, we held it for support during the entire 2.5x move upwards, or 2x move upwards. It's a level that held for the majority of the 2021 bull market's gains, from 8K all the way up to basically 64, 65K. And when we lost it, we saw the biggest correction we've ever seen in Bitcoin's price history in the shortest period of time ever, other than COVID. So this is a very, very, very important level. And it's not something to be stuffed around with. Now that we've gotten back above that level, we can have a certain degree of peace of mind that we didn't have yesterday. But I'm not getting, obviously this is a very, very bullish thing. I could sit here and talk about how bullish it is for 15 minutes, but I want to be very clear with you. I think it could have been better. I think the weekly candle close could have been better. And you might think, what do you mean by that? Well, first and foremost, obviously we've broken above it. That's a great thing. That's great news. But we didn't break above it by much. In fact, we barely got above it. And we didn't break above critical levels, that were around that level as well. We know bull market support band was the most critical level on the weekly chart. But what we also know as well is that we had the 200-week SMA, all right, that we didn't manage to get above, that we closed just below, as you can see, just below there, we rejected from. And right now on the open, yes, it's a fresh open. Yes, it's only been active for around, what, like 20 minutes or 40 minutes, but we are slightly rejecting from that at the moment. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say we're gonna reject from it, but I'm saying certainly that we didn't manage to get above it, and that's not a good thing, because the 200-week SMA is very important as well. It's something we held for support during the COVID drop, something that we held for support during 2018. We found for support on the low in 2015. It doesn't show it on this chart, but it's true. You know, this is a very major level as well, so it's not something to be stuffed around with. And the fact that we didn't get above that is not really concerning. I think Bitcoin is much more bullish than it was yesterday, and I'll happily say now I am bullish on Bitcoin, but I think it's certainly not as bold of a close as we perhaps wanted it to be. We also need to consider very strongly that the RSI weekly chart, all right, because weekly chart's very important right now. Obviously, weekly chart is where the bull market support band was. RSI on the weekly chart is still at resistance, all right, and this is not good. We're still, yeah, it's a descending wedge. Yeah, it should break to the upside, but realistically, descending wedges can last for a pretty long period of time. You can reject downwards before breaking up again. But I will say, you know, we are still at resistance on weekly RSI. So, yeah, we broke above bull market support band, but it was a weak break, and we're still below 200-week SMA, and we're still below RSI resistance on the weekly chart. So, you know, it's not like we're ultra bullish and you should buy everything now. No, it's more like we had a good, solid, nice step in the right direction, but we're not quite out of the woods yet. I mean this quite literally. If the weekly candle closed 100 USD higher, if it closed at 28.2, we would be in a great position with Bitcoin right now. Absolutely excellent, but unfortunately didn't quite get there. We just fell a little bit short. And again, I don't want to worry you too much. I'm not bearish on Bitcoin right now. I don't necessarily think there's substantial evidence to suggest that a rejection is something that's overly likely. But I will say that it could have been a little bit better. And that we do need to still watch and be a little bit still attentive to the price action, specifically weekly RSI, specifically 200-week SMA. But luckily for us on Bitcoin, we do have a few indicators on Ethereum and total cryptocurrency market cap that the RSI will be breaking out. You know, for example, we know for a fact that total cryptocurrency market cap, of course, is directly linked to Bitcoin, obviously, because Bitcoin makes up the vast majority of it, well, not the vast majority, but about 50% of the cryptocurrency market cap. And Ethereum, of course, is linked to Bitcoin as well. Now, what's interesting about the close in the weekly is that both Ethereum and the total cryptocurrency market cap failed to close above their bull market support bands. They both failed to do so, right? They both closed slightly below. But this is not overly concerning because when Bitcoin held support on the bull market support band, Ethereum and total cryptocurrency market cap were below theirs. Therefore, you could have made the reasonable deduction that Bitcoin would have gone down because they dropped below their bull market support band. And so hence you can assume, since Bitcoin didn't go down, that the accuracy of Ethereum and total cryptocurrency market cap in terms of their closes in relation to their bull market support band is not a good indicator of what Bitcoin will do in relation to its bull market support band. I know I just spouted a lot of words, but all in all, what I'm trying to say is that Bitcoin's bull market support band is much more important than the bull market support band on total cryptocurrency market cap and Ethereum. Therefore, us closing below or within the bull market support bands on these two charts is not necessarily super relevant to Bitcoin. What I will say is this: the RSI on Ethereum and total cryptocurrency market cap is pretty relevant to Bitcoin, and both of the RSIs on total cryptocurrency market cap and Ethereum formed a descending wedge in a similar fashion to the descending wedge forming on Bitcoin right now, and both of them have broken out on the weekly candle close, which you could assume would mean that Bitcoin will break out of its weekly candle, weekly chart RSI on the next weekly candle close. Basically, total cryptocurrency market cap and Ethereum are in relatively good positions, and both of them would indicate that Bitcoin will manage to do what it failed to do on the next weekly candle close. Yes, you're right, in terms of getting above 200-week SMA, in terms of getting above RSI. So, yes, technically speaking, we're not quite out of the woods, but everything is certainly looking quite swell. Daily chart, similar story. We broke multiple things. You know, we bounced very strongly off this blue line, which is the 50 EMA, sorry. So the 50 EMA bounced very strongly off of that. Off that bounce, we were able to leverage that position and go upwards above the dashed yellow line, above, you know, this downtrending yellow line. I know there's a lot of lines on the screen. I'll remove them all now so you can see quite clearly what's happening. above the dash yellow line, above the descending yellow line stemming back here from July 13th. We broke that to the upside. So we've done a lot of progress here. We saw a resistance support flip there. That's certainly good news. And we've managed to, of course, leverage that position and move upwards above bull market support band. But just like the 200-week on the weekly chart, the 200-week SMA on the daily chart is also in the same location, facing quite similar resistance. And so that's supporting that resistance level. I think that in order for Bitcoin to be fully out of the woodwork, that's the wrong word. I should say, in order for Bitcoin to be fully out of danger, I think we would need to be seeing a daily candle close above 28.6, because in doing that, right, what would we would be doing is we'd be getting above the support level that held us up over here. Once we lost that support level, we went downwards into a new range. So in a similar fashion, right, I'm going to look at this in a second, the Bitcoin ranges. In a similar fashion to how there are Bitcoin ranges on the weekly chart or on long-term perspective, there are also Bitcoin ranges on the daily chart on medium-term perspective right now. There is the range up here between 28.6 and 32, and there is the range down here between 24.5 and 28.6. I think that if we get above 28.6, that would be an indicator that would be doing very good things on the weekly chart candle to come. We would be forming a rounding bottom formation, and we'd be looking very good for Bitcoin. That is where I'd be looking for some nice buys on Bitcoin. Daily candle close above 28.6 should do the job. In fact, you could probably pre-run those buys at anywhere, 28.2 or something like that, but it would be more risky. I think daily candle close above 28.6 would be great. I think in doing that, we would confirm that we're going to be retesting 32K, because obviously, as I just said, there are two distinctive ranges. There's the range up here, there's the range up here. If we break back into the range up here, we'll be facing strong resistance from the top of the range, which is 32K, and I quite honestly do not see 32K holding again for resistance. I think if we're going to go up there again and test 32K, it will break this time. And this is where we get into the range-bound constructions. If we break 32K, what happens? Well, look at the ranges on Bitcoin historically. We've got the red range, the orange range, the green range. We're in the green range right now. If you look above the green range, you look above 32K, what happens? Well, we enter the bull market territory. I'm not saying we're going to enter a bull market if we break 32K, because I think the bull market is cyclical. But I will say that we're going to be entering the territory we saw the vast majority of the gains of the bull market in. Therefore, we're going to be in a very good position to make exponential move upwards. Okay, so not like that, not like how I just drew it, but you know what I mean, right? The volatility will increase up in this range over here. So basically speaking, I think that if Bitcoin manages to get above 28.6 on a daily candle close, and specifically, closes the weekly chart in a good position again, I think it's very likely we'll retest 32K, and I think from a 32K retest, it becomes extremely likely that we break 32K, and from that position, it becomes extremely likely that we see a very regular market cycle. We're going to be discussing that is Bitcoin on track cyclically? We'll discuss that more in a separate video, because it's actually a separate topic of its own. But that's kind of what I want to discuss today: the weekly candle close, the daily chart, etc. Hourly charts are not really particularly relevant right now. We haven't seen enough price action. Yeah, we saw a strong hourly candle. You can see it just got us above the bull market support band. I mean, we really closed above it by the skin of our teeth, right? It was a few USD we got above it by. And we're seeing an evening star formation form off of that. It wouldn't surprise me if we see some rapid volatility to come. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Some pretty dumb TA is probably going to be happening. I wouldn't be surprised by it. The importance of this price region rarely does lead to stupid price action, and that's been shown throughout the entirety of this year. But I do have a couple more things to look at. I have this question here, and I have monthly returns on Bitcoin. Before we finish up with those two things, I want to quickly take a break and look at the Bitget and BingX exchanges. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a little news flash for you. You trust exchanges with your money. They get hacked all the time. They lose funds all the time. So the exchange you're using, you're actually trusting with your money. You're also paying them fees for trades. You're paying up to thousands, tens of thousands of dollars per year in fees. So you want to have a bloody good exchange, right? And that's why I have two exchanges for you guys, two options depending on your location, depending on what you want from exchange. The first one is Bitget. That is a KYC exchange. You can sign up from anywhere in the world, excluding the United States, excluding Canada, and excluding Singapore. Very low fees, protection fund, the whole 9 yards. We've also got BingX. That's our second exchange, and that is an exchange you can sign up non-KYC from anywhere in the world, including every country, right? With a VPN from anywhere in the world. Again, very low fees, protection fund, everything you need in an exchange. Both of these exchanges are top 10 exchanges in trading volume. Sign up using my referral link below to get a 15% trading fee discount on both of the exchanges. Again, they'll both be in the description. Referral link is there. Get on the good exchange and become a proper trader. Don't use these trashy exchanges that you're risking your money and paying over in fees. Guys, let's get back into the video. All right, welcome back. We're going to look at monthly returns now, and we're going to look at this question I got from Vlad Ethereum. All right, so monthly returns. Well, this again is going to be a topic of a video in itself, and this is a topic that I'm going to be discussing in, of course, as I said, a video of its own over the next week or so, the next few days or so. And basically, the topic I'm discussing is the majority always correct? Is the majority always wrong? Why I think the majority the quote, the majority is always wrong, is actually wrong in itself. I don't think that's a quote that you can substantiate with relevant evidence. I don't necessarily believe in that quote. I don't believe you should be taking that quote seriously. We're going to be discussing that in a video of itself. But as of right now, you have to take my word for it. That's my opinion. I think the majority of the quote, the majority is always wrong, is unquantifiable. I think the trends wouldn't exist if the majority was always wrong. What I want to discuss is this, So basically, we were meant to see a red September. We had 8 out of a historical 10 Septembers being red. We were meant to see a red September. We didn't see a red September. We saw a 3% gain in September. Now we are meant to see a green October. We've seen 8 out of the historical 10 Octobers be green. And the green Octobers have been much more green than the red Septembers were red. Therefore, we can reasonably deduct that if this is a trend that is legitimate, which I'm honestly on the fence about at this point, we should be seeing a green October, or as people in crypto are saying, Uptober. They're calling it Uptober, which means the market's going to go up in October. Look, I'm not going to take that seriously. I don't base my opinions on cryptocurrency market based on monthly, what Bitcoin has done at specific periods of time in the past. I don't think it's actually very relevant at all. But it is something people look at, therefore I will look at it, I will briefly address it. I think that it's not something we should be overly concerned about. I don't think it's something that is really that strong supporting data at all. I think if anything it's bullish, but the most likely case is actually just kind of doesn't really mean anything. But look, what I will say is this, Uptober is expected on a general level now, and I think there's not really a reason not to expect it. I mean, if you look at what Bitcoin's done, it's definitely leaning bullish now. Yeah, there's still a few things we need to knock out. There's still a few things we need to do. There's still, we're not out of the woods by any means, as I've said before, but I think it would be illogical to say that October is going to be red just because October is generally green. It doesn't really make sense, and that's where I get into this comment here. I got a comment, and it's actually been a comment that I've got repeatedly, that says, why would we need to see 9 months of green in a pre-halving year though? Right, so basically he's asking, if I'm bullish, which I'd say I am bullish now, but I actually wasn't before. I was very neutral in the market, right? And that's something I made very clear. But I'd say I'm leaning bullish now. I'm not even overly bullish yet because I haven't, all of my requirements haven't been met, but I would say I'm leaning bullish now. He says, why do we need to see 9 months of green? Well, why does that matter? Why does it matter? The question why is illogical. What matters is for charts. And I will also say to you quite clearly now, 9 months of green, it's like you're acting like time matters. You're acting like months matter. A month in itself is a construct. It doesn't actually mean anything. And that's where I'm going to be making a point in the next few days in an independent video. I don't think that the monthly returns chart on Bitcoin matters that much at all. What I will say as well is that, we've seen technically, 9 months of green. We've seen 8 months of green. We've only seen 2 red months. But if you look at the returns on Bitcoin, actually we've seen 3 red months. So I mean, what are we actually talking about here? We've seen 3 red months out of the 9 months we've seen, right? And out of the 9, sorry, I'm stuttering a lot here, but I'm trying to get the information out. So we've seen 9 completed months on Bitcoin. 3 of them have been red, right? And 2 of them have been barely green. One of them was 0.03% green, and one of them was 2% green. To act like this comment has any meaning whatsoever based on that, knowing that 5 of the 9 months have been red or barely green, is absolutely comical. That is an irrelevant comment. Don't take it seriously. I'm not trying to be rude to this person, but it's something you really need to understand. These narratives that people put into your heads, these narratives that the bears put into your heads, right, are completely irrational. We've seen, as I said, 9 completed months this year, right? Only 4 of them have been green by any reasonable extent at all. That's less than 50%. So to act like October has to be red because of that data, which isn't even data at all, is completely asinine. So don't take these comments seriously. And I'm not trying to insult this person specifically. I understand they probably believe what they're saying, but I encourage you to actually look at the data for what it is. And even when you're looking at the data, and even though the data actually proves the point I'm trying to make, I also encourage you to not look at this data, because this data is irrelevant. What matters are the indicators, the market patterns, the candlestick formations. I apologize for stuttering a lot there. Again, it's been a couple of sleepless nights for me. Haven't been sleeping too well, been looking at the market a lot, because obviously we've seen an interesting time. And I've been staying up so I can give you the best quality information I can do. In the most reasonable time frame I can do it. So hopefully you guys appreciate the content. If you do, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Guys, thank you for watching the video. I'll end it there. Check out the Crypto Academy courses on the website, which I'll link in the description below. Become a Trader 10-unit course. All the information's on the website. You can read the bio. You can read the unit topics. It shows you exactly what you'll get with the course, in terms of slides, videos, worksheets, an exact number of those things. It's around 40 hours from start to finish, so it's quite reasonable. It's quite, packed with information. And as I said, it's got a lot of content there. You'll find it useful. You'll improve your trading for sure. So go ahead and throw us an email at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com if you've got any questions or just want to inquire about the payment information. Guys, thank you for watching again. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.